Every club.
Every day.
The Global Sports Podcast Network.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the Daily Newcastle podcast. I'm your host for today, Michael Grameslow, and I am joined by Nicola Pringle-Adams and Iain Mackay. Nicola, I'll start with you. How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, all good. Thank you very much. What about you, Iain? You doing okay?
Yes. I'm not singing the Boomtown Rats I Hate Monday today, Michael, because I don't. Because it's lovely. I haven't seen you two for the first time in a month as well.
Oh, it's an absolutely fantastic occasion. And I was just about to say any Monday can be brightened up by these three faces. But unfortunately, our audience are going to see them on a Tuesday. So you'll just have to deal with it. But
All right.
I don't know about the rest of yous, but I kind of find the whole transfer window at the minute pretty boring. Would you both agree?
Yeah. Not a lot's going on.
Joanne and I managed to make a 20-minute podcast discussing how nothing was happening yesterday.
I was very impressed. But that is why today I've brought you both in to do something a wee bit different. Today we're going to be going through and ranking NUFC players against their Premier League counterparts. So we'll go through it position by position. I've sort of pre-ranked them. Otherwise you'd have like Sandro Tonali versus Enzo Lefebvre. And well, that'd be more one-sided than the last derby, so we don't want that. But we're going to start in goal. Newcastle United's Nick Pope. He might not actually be in that position at the start of the season, but he's here for now. So to start off, I'm going to go through I don't want to say dire straits of the Premier League, but the bottom of the lists sort of players. Can we agree that Nick Pope is better than the following? Anthony Patterson from Sunderland, Alphonse Areola from West Ham, Illan Meslier from Leeds, and Neto from Bournemouth. We in agreement?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes,
100%.
absolutely fantastic. The easy part's done. Happy days. And are you both in agreement that he isn't quite at the level of Edison, Alisson, David Raya, Emi Martinez, and unfortunately Jordan Pickford?
I don't know if I agree with the Jordan Pickford one.
Generally, you're right, Michael, but I would have Nick Pope over Martinez and Raya, to be honest. I've seen those two stupid goals away by their brilliant footwork every time we bloody play them virtually. Raya's given the ball away to someone on the edge of his own box and we score. So it's that's the horses for courses, though, isn't it? I'm an old-fashioned man who likes to goalie that can stop the shots and and then beat it out of their hands to bounce on the edge of the opposition box.
Okay. So we've already had some interesting shouts there. So it hasn't quite gone how I imagined it starting, so this is going to get a bit tougher. But is Nick Pope, we'll go back to the bottom of the list, because I thought those first 9 would be relatively straightforward, but is Nick Pope better than Robert Sanchez, Andre Onana, Jose Sarr,
Yes.
Colin Kelleher, the new Brentford goalkeeper, and James Trafford? I've left it on Trafford for a reason, if you can't tell.
I can imagine what you're coming back to. I would say Nick Pope, for me, I would take Nick Pope certainly above the first two because they've got a hell of a rick in them every 20 minutes, haven't they? Onana and Sanchez. I do like Sarr as a goalkeeper, but I don't think he's as good as Pope is.
Agreed.
I like Kelleher as a goalkeeper. If you could rewind time, I think we should have been chasing after him for 12 million or whatever it was.
Yeah,
I'd agree. Yeah.
And Trafford, well, that's a loaded question, isn't it? Loaded question. I would like to think if we do get James Trafford this season, he will come in and understudy Nick Pope.
Yeah, I'd agree.
And then once he's bedded in, and we'll be able to tell whether he's better or not, won't we?
But for the time being, are you saying that Pope's above Trafford? Just to clarify.
For me, he is, because I think too much emphasis is put on work.
You agree, Nicola?
Yeah, I completely agree with everything Iain said, actually, on all of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
That bit was a lot more straightforward than I liked, and I do like that. So we go into the final 5 to determine exactly where Nick Pope is for both of you. And I'll go one by one. Is Nick Pope better than Matt Sells? Former Newcastle goalkeeper in himself.
You're
but
talking about the Matt Sells who played for for Nottingham Forest last year rather than the one who came and couldn't get past Carl Darlow in a Benitez team, aren't you?
Yes, that one.
Sells was excellent last year.
He was very good.
I still feel sorry for the one that penalty he let in against Alexander Isak, where he so nearly got up to it, but it was just tipped and dropped over his head. I still put Pope ahead of Sells, though.
Okay, good stuff. Do you agree, Nicola?
No.
Oh, why is that?
No. I just I'm not saying Nick Pope isn't as confident, because obviously he's a goalkeeper for a reason and is, but I feel like Matt Sells doesn't hesitate as much as what Nick Pope sometimes does, if you know what I mean. I think we've all said before that since Nick Pope's injury, obviously I know it was a while ago now, he can be quite hesitant in some places. And I actually do like Matt Sells for Forest, so I think I'm going to disagree with that one.
Just how I like it. Fantastic. Yeah. So we'll move on to the next one. We'll go for
doing this, by the way. I feel like I'm going to get slaughtered online.
We'll keep it cool. We're going to go to Vicario from Tottenham. Would you both say that Nick Pope is better than the current Tottenham Italian? Yes. All right, fantastic. Next up, Bart Verbruggen. Obviously, Iain, I know you're a big fan, but is he better than Nick Pope right now? Oh, I've got them thinking.
Oh.
I think, is he just moved?
No, he's still at Brighton. It's Mark Flecken that's moved from Brentford.
Flecken that's moved, yeah. Brighton goalkeeper is really good. But he did concede a lot of goals last year, didn't he? So I'm going to put Pope, and I might have to put Flecken. I'm a big fan of Flecken, although I don't think everybody else.
He's at Bayer Leverkusen now, so we'll probably never see him again unless it's in the Champions League. But what about you, Nicola? Do you agree with Verbruggen over Pope, or are you a fan? Of Pope over Verbruggen, should I say?
Yeah, I do. Sorry, I was misunderstanding. Yeah, good. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
I got it wrong there. I do apologise. Right, two left on the goalkeeper front, and it is Dean Henderson and Bernd Leno. Would you say that either of those are better than Nick Pope?
No contest.
Yeah,
nope.
Absolutely not.
Oh, okay. Right, so both of you said that Alisson and Ederson were better than Nick Pope, and then you couldn't agree on David Raya, Jordan Pickford, Emi Martinez, or Matt Sells. So basically, he's in the top 5 for both of you as Nick Pope, which does beg the question why Newcastle want to replace him. But, that's football. So we'll move on next.
Michael, I think Newcastle want to replace Dubravka. And they want to replace Dubravka with a young, understudy goalkeeper, whilst Pope is number 1. And if it's James Trafford and he proves to be fantastic and he wins the place of the team by Christmas and takes over, then we'll all sing his praises, won't we? But if he's
hopefully that is the case.
If he's still a bit sort of wobbly like he was when he played for Burnley in the Premier League 2 years ago, Pope will definitely still be the number 1. He's got to work hard to dislodge Nick Pope at the moment, I think. I know he had a dodgy period when he came back from his bad shoulder, but I'm just remembering that one-handed save after a really good move that Man United put together when he to push that over the bar, and the one in the Carabao Cup final at a critical time. Such a strong reach and a strong hand. Very good. I think Pope's got a lot to offer.
Could well still be the case, but at the same time, we've got about 6 goalkeepers, and the only one we've really heard about leaving, other than obviously John Ruddy, etc., has been Nick Pope. There's rumours of nothing for Dubravka, nothing for Fodasis Vlahosimos. So it could be a case that if we want to bring in a goalkeeper, one of them has to leave, and that might be Nick Pope. But either way, you've got a great point there. We'll move on to our fullbacks. These should be the 2 easiest ones due to the lack of quality in the league, in my opinion. Tino Livramento, obviously, on the right-hand side. It could have easily been Kieran Trippier. But we're going to start off with Mazraoui from Manchester United. Would you both agree Tino's levels above?
Yes.
Levels above.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm going to go through the next three quite
one,
quickly, just to start off. Matty Cash. Is Tino
Come
better?
on.
Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
Yes.
Yeah.
Although he's a good player.
Pedro Porro from Tottenham Hotspur.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Ola Aina from Nottingham Forest.
He's a good player as well, but he's not Tino, though. He's not a Tino, is he?
Oh. And then so that puts Tino at least in the top 3 with Ben White.
He's better than him.
Oh,
He's better than Ben White. Okay, and the player that I've put number 1
buffoon.
Out of the the player that I've put number 1 out of the rest of the league, Daniel Munoz from Crystal Palace. Would you say that Tino Livramento is better than Daniel Munoz? Or, well, actually, I'm forcing you to say yes or no. I was going to give you an out, but no. Yes or no?
No, I'd say no. I like Munoz as well. I think he's excellent. It's fantastic going forward, and I know the stats that you quoted at us about him. So he looked good, and then you proved it as well. But I think Tino has got so much ceiling still, and then he could be just as high on the list for left back as well.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Agreed. Yeah.
So is that both for yes or both for no?
We're like
yes,
Pep,
I think.
Michael. Nicola and I are like Pep. We think Tino Livramento is the best right back in the league.
Oh, okay. So no right backs better than Tino Livramento. And on the left-hand side, obviously Lewis Hall signed pretty much the same time as Tino, and he's done very, very well last season as well. I'll start off with another Manchester United player, Patrick Dorgu.
Oh, for God's sake. He's better than him.
No? Okay.
I like him.
Okay.
I do like him as well. And he's very raw.
Yeah.
And he might well develop into somebody who's very close behind Lewis Hall, but at the minute, he's not anywhere near Lewis Hall.
Next up, Purvis Estepinian from Brighton. Very good player, but has been injured for most of the last season. So,
have you got an opinion about him, Nicola?
Nope. Don't really know much about him, to be honest.
Come on. Brighton fullback. Got a good shot on him, but he's not. It's nothing to write home about.
Okay, next up, one that will be very controversial. Who is better, Lewis Hall or Miles Lewis-Skelly? Right now, that is. Not who has the bigger ceiling, who is better right now.
Who has the biggest what, did you say?
Ceiling.
Who's better right now?
No, you said something before.
The biggest ceiling. The biggest ceiling, Nicola. What do you think he said? No, don't say
I couldn't hear, he cut off.
I would say Lewis Hall is a better left back. Miles Lewis-Skelly could go very, very far. I think he'll fly as a midfield player though, and they use him as an inverted fullback to come into midfield, which is the modern way, and he's very good at that. But I don't think, and he's not bad defensively, but he has been sent off twice, hasn't he?
Yeah, discipline issues do seem to be a problem. Although one of them was rightfully rescinded, but discipline does seem to be a bit of an issue. So we're saying Lewis Hall over Lewis-Skelly?
Yeah. Because of his Lewis Hall, because of his sterling defensive work. Can you believe we're saying that after the first 6 months when he played at Newcastle?
Massive improvement from the young man. Manchester City's new left back, Iain Aït-Nouri. What do we think? Is Lewis Hall currently better than Aït-Nouri, or is he the first one to dethrone Lewis Hall?
No, I think he's a fantastically skillful player, and he's superb going forward, and turning up in the box.
Very Pep.
Score some good goals. I'd say I'm still thinking of it as the Wolverhampton Wanderers left back, but I think maybe going to work with Pep will knock all of that flair and genius out of him, and turn into a really dull left back.
Oh,
I don't
it's
think
not a bad shout of what we've seen. Not at all.
Very true.
Right, and then I'm going to go through the next two because I think they're very similar. I think I know what the answer is going to be. Destiny Udogie and Anthony Robinson from Spurs and Fulham. Either of those, would you say, are better than Lewis Hall, or are you both happy that Hall's comfortably better in a Newcastle shirt?
Oh, yeah, I am.
Udoggy's another inverted one who's fabulous going forward. I just remind you how Anthony Gordon shrugged him off to win the ball back, to put Isaac through for the first time that he sat under what you call him on his arse. So I don't think he's got the defensive capabilities. It's left back we want, isn't it? With some flair going forward. And who's the other one?
The other one was Anthony Robinson.
Yeah, Anthony Robinson is he's a beast up and down, and I think he's on a par.
Okay. Tied for third, we'll give him.
Is he English?
American, which is bizarre. Right. Yeah, apparently Americans actually are semi-decent at football. There's at least one of them is.
At least one of them is, yeah.
But, to be fair, though, I think he spelled Anthony Antonee.
Yes, he is.
He can't possibly be the top of any list just because of that reason.
Right, Lewis Hall is third because he's called Lewis. This is what this list is about. And in the top three, we have Liverpool's newest signing, obviously not confirmed yet, but Milos Kerkez and Josko Gvardiol. Would you say that Lewis Hall is better than either of those players, or are you content with Lewis Hall sitting in third place?
I can't really comment on these two players because I haven't seen a lot. I don't know a lot.
Kerkez has had an excellent season, and that's why Liverpool have bought him.
Yes.
I'd say he was ahead of Lewis Hall because he was excellent. He's been excellent for longer. But my best left back in the league is Gvardiol because he is superb at turning up in the box. Scored 5 or 6 goals last year. Great in the air and super solid defensively as well. I mean, he's covered at centre half. So casting my Newcastle hat to one side, Gvardiol's a great fullback.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. So we've confirmed that Lewis Hall is a mix of second and third, depending on who you ask, but definitely up there in the top three with two great options. Now, I'm aware we are getting on a little bit, so I'm going to go into centre-backs, and I'm going to ask you now to name 2 Newcastle United centre-backs out of the 3. So obviously Dan Burn, Sven Botman and Fabian Schär. Who do you think will be Newcastle's starting pair next season, providing they're all 3 are fit? And we don't sign a centre-back, obviously.
Yeah, definitely Schär. Sorry, no, let me start again. Definitely Dan Burn, I think.
Ooh.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know.
He has just been named player of the season for us, to be fair, so he is going to be very difficult to drop.
That's why I said that.
But he's player of the season. He's player of the season in a season where Sven Botman, who's his direct competitor for the left side of centre half, played 3 games. Yeah. So I think if everyone's fit, I think it'll be Schär and Botman that would start.
I hope it is.
Okay, well, out of those two,
to be fair, they had a great partnership the year before.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, agreed.
So, out of those 2 players, I'm going to get you to pick between them. Who's better, Fabian Schär or Sven Botman?
Oh my word!
God!
I need somewhere to start and somewhere to finish.
I'm really biased though because I honestly love Sven Botman, but I feel like a little bit too biased because he's been injured the majority of last season.
He was called the Rolls Royce for a reason, to be fair.
Yeah,
yeah.
But then I also love when Botman. Fabian Schär gets that moment where he just does what he wants. No, I'm going to go Botman.
Okay. I'll go Botman as well. I think Schär went off it for about 10 games and then came back. But when Schär's not concentrating, he is very capable of the 10-yard square ball to the opposition centre half on the edge of his own box.
Yeah, absolutely. So, with that, I'm going to start off with the 3 players that I think definitely Botman and Schär haven't beaten. And then I'll start from the bottom with Fabian Schär. But can we agree that Virgil van Dijk, Gabriel and Saliba are indeed better than our 2 starting centre-backs?
Yeah, I can put my hand up and admit that.
Yes, absolutely fantastic. We've got a starting point. So, I'm now going to ask, I'm going to give you let's say 8 players, and I want you to tell me if any of them are better than Fabian Schär. So we have Christopher Ajer and Ethan Pinnock from Brentford, Jean-Claire Todibo from West Ham, Matthias de Ligt and Lenny Yoro from Manchester United. Reminder, this is now, not potential. Max Kilman from Wolves, James Tarkowski from Everton, and Maxence Lacroix from Crystal Palace. Or is Fabian Schär better than every single one of them?
He's up. He's ahead of all
He's
of them.
definitely up there, yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to put him ahead of all of them.
Okay, absolutely fantastic. I mean, I was expecting that, to be honest, but I thought maybe one of them might pull you out a little bit. James Tarkowski had a great season. Thought maybe recency bias, but I'll go through the next 4 that I have down on the list here, and that is Pau Torres from Aston Villa, Levi Colwill from Chelsea, Jared Branthwaite from Everton, and Ezri Konsa from Aston Villa again. Would you say that any of them are better than Fabian Schär right now?
I really like Colwill, I do think he's a really good player. I know that gets a lot of...
He is a good player.
I think he's a really
good player. He is a very good player, to be honest.
He's done a lot of left back as well, though. Is he definitely a centre half that was filling in at left back rather than the other way around?
So he's a left centre back. He's best in a 3.
Right. Okay.
Why are we comparing him to Fab Schär then?
Well, if I go left and right, I've got to go through every single player based on their foot.
Okay. All right, no, that's right. That's right. On those players that you gave us, I like Colwill.
Me too.
I still prefer having Fab Schär in defence for Newcastle, though.
Okay.
One of the players that is definitely is ahead of him. Branthwaite, I think, could get there, but he's still quite young.
Mm-hmm.
And again, somebody who finished up on his arse when he came to Newcastle, and Isaac took the ball around him. Konsa, I think, is England's best centre half. And keep campaigning when we're going to go and rob Aston Villa to get them out of their PSR mess in the next few days. We should go and rob Konsa.
You want him?
Them.
I didn't even hear you say him. Sorry, shout. Michael. I just focus on Colwill.
Would you agree that Konsa's above Schär?
Yes, yeah. I think he's probably the only one out that list.
Would you say either of them are Konsa's above Botman? Either of you?
I would.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I might not if Sven has another good season when he comes back next season, plays 35 games. I might not, because I think Botman's got a very high ceiling, and I want to see the Rolls Royce. But yeah, Botman's special. The way Botman was out for a year and then just came and stepped back in to play centre half against Arsenal in the 2 semi-final legs.
Yeah,
that's a special player who can do that. It can't possibly be match fit, and yet you wouldn't know.
I agreed. This is why he's my favourite.
Yeah. Hey, to be fair, it's a great shout, and it shows that you're not being biased, which I think everyone can appreciate. So my next 4, I'm going to ask you if they're better than Sven Botman, but give me a heads up if you think they're not better than Fabian Schär, which would be weird if they're better than Botman but not Schär, but you get where I'm going. Emmanuel Akanji, Jean-Paul Van Hecke, Murillo, and Nicola Milenkovic. Both Nottingham Forest centre-backs there. The Brighton centre-back we're heavily linked with in Van Hecke, and then Akanji, who in his first season was absolutely fantastic, but hasn't quite hit the heights last season.
Are we linked with Van Hecke, are we?
Yes.
I haven't seen that.
Van Hecke is the key man in the Brighton defence, apparently. When he's not playing, they think they fall apart, and when he is, they do very, very well. He did play. He played well twice at St James's last year, didn't he, Van Hecke?
Yeah. He's played well against us both times.
Came back for injury, and is he who got Anthony Gordon sent off?
Or might well be. I can't say for certain, but
pushed over.
Feels like...
I think he came in from injury and was the difference that got Brighton through in the FA Cup. I would say all 4 of those that you've given us are ahead of Fab Schär.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd agree.
Agreed. But not ahead of Botman, I don't think.
Oh.
I'd be wrong.
What about you? Do you think they're above Botman?
I don't think Van Hecke is. Akanji's capable, but then he wasn't last year. He was he was injured a lot of it, wasn't he? Came back and wasn't fully fit, so I've not really seen how good he was when he first got there. He was absolutely superb. Who were the other two? Same team. Oh yeah, Murillo
and
Milenkovic were, I think, why Nottingham Forest did so well.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Superb. But I'm not sure if that's just an exceptional season that they've had together, and they will struggle to get to those heights again. But giving them the benefit of the doubt, they were both excellent last year. I don't think either of them are as good as Botman, though.
Oh, okay. So we're saying Milenkovic, Murillo, and Van Hecke and Akanji aren't as good as Botman, but all four are better than Fabian Schär. Is that correct?
I think so.
Yes,
I think
Nicola?
Akanji's capable of being better than him if he was like he was 2 years ago.
Okay.
I feel bad for Schär.
There's got to be a difference between players.
That's why we're shopping for a replacement, Nicola. We're just planning ahead.
True.
So now I'm going to go through 3 centre-backs who I do think are up there with the best in the league. And we have a player that we've been linked with for a little while now, Mark Gay, Ilya Zabarnyi from Bournemouth, and Ibrahima Konate from Liverpool. Would you say all 3 are better than Fabian Schär? And how many would you say are better than Sven Botman, if any?
Konate, defo better than Schär.
Yeah.
Gayhe's a real hard one because I really liked him when we were linked with him. I know we still are linked with him, but now, once we were linked with him last season, he then had a really bad patch. And now I'm like, he's definitely better than Schär.
We've all got a soft spot for Gay because he scores for Newcastle every time he plays against them.
True.
I think Gay is an excellent centre-half, and I think putting aside the fact that we couldn't sign him and all those frustrations, the fact that Liverpool are saying if Konate goes, they're going to go straight for Gay. Those 2 guys are going to be in, they're replacing a champion with a future champion, and both of those guys are way at the top.
Yeah, 100%. Who was the other one?
So we had Konate, Zabarnyi, and Gay.
Zabarnyi was excellent, but I don't know how much. Maybe you saw more of them, Michael. I think that was a partnership with Hoyson, who ended up at Real Madrid.
Yeah,
who may well have done made Zabarnyi look fantastic because he's playing alongside Hoyson.
I think Zabarnyi was there a little bit beforehand when they had Marco Sanusi at centre back as well, and he was the standout player there for me, which is why I've put him so high. So yeah. Oh, and there is one name that I have forgot to mention: Ruben Diaz. He was supposed to be mentioned in there as well.
He is very good.
Diaz has been very good, but he was pretty awful last year. For all the time Man City was struggling. I know he came back, but even then they weren't invincible when they came back. I know they won a lot of games at the end, finished third. Diaz is class, I suppose. Form temporary and class is permanent.
Yeah, 100%. So, what we say, I just need to confirm, Mark Gay, is he better than Sven Botman? Just quick yes or no?
Reluctantly, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Ibrahima Konate, is he better than Sven Botman? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's see.
Okay. And then Ilya Zabarnyi, is he better than Sven Botman? Yes or no?
On par, maybe?
I would say no, but that's because I'm thinking he's flattered by having played alongside Hoyson. If you think that's irrelevant, then he's certainly up there with him.
It's not me making the decisions, thankfully. It's I'm asking you the hard questions.
Well, I'll stick with Botman.
Happy days. Right, we are going to go into our first sponsor eventually. It is supposed to be around 10 minutes. We've hit 30. So I'm going to hit the sponsor and then we'll be back in a moment.
Your body is unique. And Global Sports Podcast Network has partnered with Bionique, the world's most personalised supplements. Bionique provide 100% tailor-made supplements designed to deliver precisely what your body needs at exactly the right levels to optimize your health. No guessing. So click the link in the show notes. Use the code GSPN 2025 for 40% off your first month's subscription. Buy Unique. Don't settle for off-the-shelf solutions made for just anybody. Get what's right for you right now.